Hallmarkies podcast. We have been given a very special invitation tonight, a royal invitation to talk about the Hallmark royal movies. And Amber's here. I'm Rachel, and Amber's here.
Why, good afternoon, Rachel. Pleasure.
Hello to you, Your Majesty. Just these movies have just gotten you in the spirit of it all, right?
Indeed.
That's pretty exciting. So,
for those of you who are listening to this audio only, you are missing out.
Yes.
Because I am ready for this podcast.
Yes. Amber is looking very, very regal tonight. And I do have on my spring dress, and I have my my royal backdrop up, which is very exciting. Got Meghan Markle, and we've got Princess Kate Middleton. And
she's technically a duchess, but whatever.
And we have 2 Meghan Markle movies, so it's pretty fun. Pretty exciting. We're excited for the royal. Are you excited for the royal wedding?
Obviously. I've been looking at fascinators all day on the internet because I need to have an appropriate fascinator to watch the royal wedding.
Yeah, I didn't even know what a fascinator was until the last royal wedding, and then I got schooled. But the last royal wedding, my friends, of course, we knew about hats. I just didn't know particularly about fascinators. And so the last royal wedding, my friends, we all got together, and I got these big hats from Michael's, and we decorated them, and then we had tea and little sandwiches, and it was pretty fun.
Yes, my mother, the Queen Mother, and myself and my friend, we stayed up the entire night, even though you could go to bed and just wake up early, but that's just not who I am. We stayed up the entire night watching all of the extended coverage because they had how they met and the story of Princess Diana and all the things. We stayed up all night watching all the stuff. We had scones, we had biscuits, we had tea, we used our fancy tea set. Ooh. We were dressed fancily, and it was so funny because as the night progressed, we just kept losing pieces. So at the end of the night, I was just in my fancy blazer, but pajama pants. It was really great. And when you stay up until 4 a.m. and you're just okay, let's go. And then you finally get to the wedding, and it's so exciting. And you're like, wow, her dress is incredible, unbelievable. And then you have to go through 8 hours of church while you're watching the royal wedding. It is tough. It is tough.
That is loyalty. That is dedication.
I do have loyalty to royalty.
Yeah. Would you describe yourself as an Anglophile, as someone who loves British stuff?
Yeah, I would, frankly. And I don't even know why. I think it's probably just because everything they say sounds better.
Yeah.
But even as a little kid, I liked British things. We're really into British humor in our family, I grew up watching Monty Python, the series, not just the thing in Faulty Towers and, stuff like that. So, Blackadder.
Oh, Blackadder, hilarious. If you want to see one of the funniest versions of Christmas Carol ever, Blackadder Christmas Carol is so good. Yes, I agree. I'm a huge Anglophile, love all things British. My latest obsession is the show Victoria. Love that. I think it's so good. I also really liked The Crown, even though I'm still behind on season 2 because of Countdown to Christmas, believe it or not. But I really loved that show. In fact, my friend Tom and I actually podcasted the first season over on my channel of The Crown. We liked it so much. And so I'll put a link down if you guys want to check that out and listen to that. But yeah, in general, I really love royal movies. I love Cinderella type stories, and I love Disney's Cinderella. On my channel, I've actually reviewed 6 different versions of Cinderella, kind of became kind of a thing, a series on my channel. And so, it's obviously like a huge part of Hallmark is these royal movies. And because of the royal wedding, they have upped it we basically have gotten 4 in the last 5 months, and then if you include the non-Hallmark, we had like we've had like a
billion,
yeah.
75 million,
and because we had Royal New Year's Eve, and which we didn't love, both of us didn't love, but we love Jessie Schramm. At least I love Jessie Schramm. But yeah, it wasn't our favorite. But we had 3 in the spring fever general season. Like technically Royal Hearts wasn't spring fever, but we're kind of co-opting it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're actually going to talk about today on the podcast is these 3. I was also big into Downton Abbey when it aired. I was big into that. I don't know. I just love all things British. I have a favorite going into this, a favorite Hallmark royal princess movie?
Prior to the spring honestly, I don't feel like any of them have really connected with me. Mm-hmm. We were going through that list off the podcast, and I don't love any of them. Mm-hmm. They all seem a little weak for me, and we discussed that I feel like probably my favorite one would be Once Upon a Holiday, but that barely counts as a royal movie. I mean, she is a princess, but like for a second.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a Roman Holiday, kind of a version of a princess movie. And so in a way, kind of Once Upon a Prince at least starts out kind of that way a little bit. But yeah, that one's also unique because you have, it's the only one I can think of all the Hallmark princess movies where
with an actual princess.
The normal person is the male character in the story. Yeah. Usually it's the male character's the prince. And, because you want a Cinderella story. So that one's unique. And that one's, of course, really good. If you want to hear more about our thoughts on Paul Campbell, you should listen to our interview with him, which was really fun.
I cannot tell you how much we love Paul Campbell. Yeah. And, okay, let's hashtag Hallmark, hashtag Hallmark, bring back Paul Campbell, hashtag Paul Campbell. Like, you guys just at Hallmark Channel, and please let them know how much we want Paul Campbell back. Remember how wonderful he is in Window Wonderland and Surprised by Love and Once Upon a Holiday and Sun-Sanded Romance. Like, just bring us Paul Campbell. We need Paul Campbell.
We need Paul Campbell. We need his smiling face in our lives. And so come on, Hallmark, bring us back Paul Campbell. Agreed. And so, yeah, that one's really fun. My favorite is A Crown for Christmas. I really like Rupert Henry Jones. I really like Danica Keller. I like the relationship that she builds with the little girl. I think it's got some heart to it. I like the end when he's on this like horse and comes and gets her back, and it's really good. And I think it's really romantic. And I like all the little side characters that are part of the castle or whatever. The staff are really cute. And so that one's my favorite. But it's pretty hard to make one. Probably Royal New Year's Eve is my least favorite. But it's probably hard to make one that I like hate. I don't know. I guess I'm a romantic in that way. Because, I don't know, even like the Royal Winter, I thought was cute. I thought that was fine. And then there's the one with Lacey Chabert, which is cute, and good. Anyway, there's some other ones, but my favorite is Crown for Christmas. So anyway, let's get started talking about these 3 new ones that we got this in the last few weeks.
Okay.
So let's start with Royal Hearts. And this, we also do have an interview with Cindy Busby, who stars in this, and she was a delight. She's amazing. And so I'll put a link down to that in the description section also, so you can check out that. So the plot for this is Kelly and her father Hank receive news that he has inherited an estate in a different country. Upon their arrival, he's shocked to discover that not only has he inherited the estate, but also a kingdom. It was actually directed by James Brolin, who plays her father, Hank, in the movie. And what was your overall sort of thoughts about this film?
I really enjoyed it. I will have to be completely honest that it wasn't my favorite, but it was really fun. But there were some things that were just like a little boring for me, yada, yada, yada. Also, like as a as an English teacher teaching her students about Jane Austen, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that wasn't that what she was?
Or she's like a writing or something like that, yeah.
I feel like she didn't speak about Jane Austen the way actual like academics on Jane Austen would discuss it, but that's fine. It's a little nitpicky, but you know. But for overall, I thought it was pretty great, and I really liked, you know, having it end up sort of differently because in this case she is in fact the princess, but there's not really like, I don't know, she's also the normal person, so it's a little strange.
Yeah, so I really liked this one a lot, and I guess I really respond to movies from Hallmark that I feel like they tried something different, and it's a princess movie, but I feel like this whole concept of like her cowboy father finding out that he's a king was kind of fun and novel and different, and you know, like the other movies that we talk about are more kind of girl and prince get thrown together. They're not supposed to like each other, but they end up liking each other. But this actually had the princes actually pursuing her in a different way than has been in any of the princess movies that I can think of, and actually wanting her to like them, you know, as opposed to being this like forbidden low-class love. And so I liked that. I liked the Andrew Cooper a lot. I thought he was very sexy, very attractive. He had like a million jobs throughout the whole thing. I thought
so many jobs.
Yeah, so many jobs.
There must not be enough people in whatever country that was, because he had every job.
Yeah, he was like Bert and Mary Poppins. Side character, you see me as a different job. And and I liked the other guy, the other king. Like I felt like he was fun and wasn't too like over the top. I really liked the love interest for Hank, named Joanne, played by Glynis Barber. I thought she was really fun, and they had good chemistry. And I really just thought it was such a hoot to see this like cowboy guy like just complain about like his dog and like I don't know, like a fish out of water. It was funny to me, and so I really liked it a lot. And like I was debating about whether I liked this better than Crown for Christmas, which is saying a lot because that was one of my favorite Hallmark movies. I don't know. It felt fresh. It felt new. It felt fun to me. I really did enjoy it. So, you know, there you go. But what did you think about the two men in this movie? The Andrew Cooper playing Alex and Lachlan Niebuhr playing King Nicholas. What did you think of that whole dynamic?
I thought they were both really fun. I think, I don't know, King Nicholas was really awesome. I loved when he was having the scene with Hank, and he was like, "Oh,
yeah,
whatever, I can handle her, no problem." And Hank's like, "Okay, sure you can."
Yeah,
that was really fun. But you know, overall, I thought it was really pretty darn solid.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. And did you like the pairing of Joanne and Hank? That little secondary romance?
Yeah, I don't need it.
You didn't need it? I thought it was really sweet. I thought they actually had really good chemistry, and I liked it. And I just kept thinking, like, get this man his dog. He needed his dog bad. It was cute. And then, of course, he gets the dog at the end. And what did you think of that whole conflict of, like, did you like that fish out of water kind of dynamic?
I mean, kind of, but I just... As a true royal watcher, I don't know. It just kind of irritates me because the whole beauty of having a royal family in charge is that there's going to be people who are raised and prepared to be like the face of the nation, right? So you don't end up with some like random weirdos who are just like the worst in charge, because you have people who are like trained and they're drilled in protocol and they know what's expected of them, and like, sure, it's probably a terrible life for them, but it also adds like a sense of stability. So just having some schmo what's his face from wherever United States come in and not even respect any of the traditions and just be like, all your traditions are lame. I don't know, that kind of was a little bit hard for me to accept and to be like okay with.
Fair enough. I thought it was really funny. It made me laugh, and I thought it was like he had sort of clever solutions to a lot of these problems, and I mean, all of these movies are silly. They're silly. I mean, granted, we do have a Hallmark actress that is marrying a prince in a couple of weeks, so maybe it's not that silly, but like. But they're all a little silly, and I don't know. I just thought that was really funny. He made me laugh, and I almost always really respond to movies about like difficult, cranky old men. Like, I don't know, for some reason that always just like makes me laugh, and I think it's super sweet and lovely. Like, my favorite movie of the whole world is Up. Is my favorite movie, and I love movies like Gran Torino. Movies like that, like get off my lawn, like stuff like that. I think is super funny, and so I don't know why that just like that hits my sweet spot as the cranky old man. So there you go. Yeah, you learned something new about me, I guess, right? And so I mean, did you feel that Cindy Busby and Andrew Cooper had pretty good chemistry?
I did, yeah. I thought their storyline was pretty great, and I mean, obviously, I approve of her picking Andrew Cooper over King Nicholas, but I don't know. It was just like, he has so many jobs. I loved their meet cute where he was like, I got all these sheep, what are you gonna do about it? And she's like, I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Yeah, she's so. And they just like got out of the road, and she's like, thanks, bye. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun. And they had a couple different meet cutes. And, and at the end, she's actually not a princess anymore. Like, he actually abdicates and figures out a new solution. So that's definitely a different ending I
don't like it. It's fine. Whatever.
You don't like it, but I thought I liked it. But what do you think of her dress? Her red dress?
It was lovely.
Yeah, it was really pretty. You could tell that, and we have to talk about the locations in Romania in this movie. It was pretty amazing.
So amazing. I love that they're now saying, you know what? Really, Canada for the most part can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it can do everything, but it can't be Europe.
Right. Yeah, this movie was all filmed in Romania, and what did they call? Do you remember? I forgot to write down what they called the place. It was like Morania or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, something.
Right, yeah. And it was one of
Morania. Yes, Morania.
The Lorania, that's right. It was
Morania, because it was so close to Romania, but it was Morania.
Morania. It was maybe the most impressive set of any Hallmark movie, maybe? Like, I don't know.
And also in the next one, Royal Matchmaker was also filmed in Romania. Mm-hmm. So it also had a really great castle set up too, but
Yeah, it was really fun. So altogether, it was an enjoyable film. So, how many crowns did you give Royal Hearts?
I ended up giving this 3.8 crowns. So, and it got deducted because I feel like they were sassing the monarchy.
Yeah.
By being like, whatever. So,
fair enough. I can understand that. So I gave it 4.5 crowns. I really liked it a lot. And it's definitely one I would get on DVD, I would get the collection that they're having, but I already, as you can see, have the two Meghan Markle movies. So I'm already set. But anyway, I really liked it a lot. And it is at number 2 for me on my rankings for Hallmark. And I just have it below Very, Very Valentine and ahead of One Winter Weekend. The next up is called Royal Matchmaker. And this is described as a New York City matchmaker is hired by a king to find his son a suitable wife in time for a national celebration. As the clock ticks towards her deadline, the matchmaker finds him the perfect wife, only to realize that she's fallen in love with him. So there you go. So this movie starred Joy Lentz, sometimes known as Bethany Joy Lentz, but in all our interviews up to this was Joy Lentz, who was in The Christmas Secret previously on Hallmark. And then you have Will Kemp, who is Hallmark debut, playing the King Sebastian. And,
nope.
and what?
Prince
Sorry.
Sebastian.
You have Will Kemp playing Prince Sebastian in his Hallmark debut. And then Simon Dutton playing King Edward, and he was also in Royal Christmas.
Yes, getting an upgrade from the butler guy to being the king this time.
Yeah, so there you go. And Joseph Thompson played Victor. Brittany Bristow is in this, playing her assistant. And she was in Christmas Next Door as Fiona's sister. Mm-hmm. And then she was also in The Good Witch, Spellbound. She's also been in Good Witch and Love Blossoms. And then you had a couple other Hallmark debuts. This was a big cast. You had Elva Trill as Petra and Poppy Rowe as Lorraine in their debut. So there you go. So it was a pretty big cast. But basically you have this idea that this matchmaker is hired because there's this big thing, there's a big coronation and everything coming up. And they are this big celebration. And she's given like a month to find him a proper match. Mm-hmm. And so what were your overall thoughts about this film?
Okay, so I'm going to assess this movie in 2 parts.
Yeah.
One, the part which was really fun and super great, the Joy Lentz and Will Kemp part, where, it was Kate and Sebastian falling in love and getting to know each other, and so cute, and it was like so delightful, and Joy Lentz is a gift. She was so amazing. She was vulnerable and sweet and funny and strong and everything you'd want her to be. She just hit it out of the park. She was so amazing. And then there's the dirty underbelly, which is where I loved Brittany Bristow's character, Brittany, so much. And when she was on the phone with Victor, I was like, that's it. This is it. This is my secondary romance. I'm so happy. I can't even stand it. And they met, and there was some like side eye. I don't care what other people say. I was feeling it. And then they had another thing where they were like talking in the hallway, and she was being like super flirty, and he was like, I can't betray the king. And she's like, oh, you won't. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, pops freaking Lorraine, who just like swooped in out of nowhere, being like, oh, I'm in love with Victor. And I was outraged. I was like, are you kidding me with this? The valet is not going to end up with Brittany. He's going to end up with Lorraine. Lorraine? Are you kidding me? And it was so distracting for me because it's not what I expected. It's not what I wanted. And it just happened. And I was supposed to just deal with it, which I guess is how real life works. But I hated it. And so it was super distracting to me for the back half of the movie. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I don't like it. I don't accept it. But taking that aside, it was really cute, and I love this movie. But I was really mad about the Brittany and Victor scenario. Freaking Lorraine. Mm-hmm.
So for me, this is a movie that when I first saw it, I had a positive response, and I still have a positive response. But I started to, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh, that had so much potential, and I don't think it was quite there. So the thing I think is the strengths of this movie is I agree with you. I think that Joy Lentz was great in this movie. She was effervescent and lovely and funny and everything that you could want in a leading lady. She was great. And I also think that she had good chemistry with Will Kemp, and I thought they were good together. My problem with this movie is similar but different. Like, I feel like I didn't really care that much about this. I'm not as into the secondary characters. When I do care about the secondary characters is when I feel like the movie becomes cluttered and I lose the time that I want to spend with my main characters, because I felt like that there was just all of these characters and none of them were like developed that well, or I really cared about them that much. And so like, I felt like they took away time that I would have liked to have seen, like cute little dates that they were going on, or like not technically a date, but kind of like pairing out time. Because when she like is freaking out and she's like, I'm in love with him, and she's crying and stuff, I was like, what? This seems out of nowhere to me. Because I felt like they had like 2 conversations, and they had been together, I guess, for a month. But to me, as a viewer, it felt like they had talked twice. And so I don't know. That was my frustration with the movie, is that I felt like it just felt cluttered to me. So I wish that we could have gotten more of our lead couple together.
And do you agree that the addition of Lorraine, we had to learn about Lorraine, we had to care about Lorraine, all that stuff, and so we had to spend all that time learning about Lorraine? Or if they had just put Victor with Brittany, it would have not cluttered up the story. It would have given Brittany something to do once she got to the country.
Right.
And it would have been amazing. Because
you already had Petra as another woman character. So that's another character, plus you have his dad, plus you have, so there's a lot of characters here. And I think they were trying to like show sort of this softer side of the prince, that he's like trying to help his community center and whatever, that he wants to be a better ruler and change things and things like that. But really, like, it was exactly the same plot as in Royal Winter, like exactly. Like there's like a community center. And
but it would have been fun with the community center stuff if like it showed her helping him fix things. If they had like a cute like painting montage or something.
Which they actually do in Royal Winter. Like she's like very involved in all of that whole thing. And so I think that, I think you could have completely cut out Lorraine as a character and wouldn't have missed a beat at all.
I mean, like, she still could have been a character, but stop trying to make Lorraine a thing. Like, don't make Lorraine happen. Right. Like, if Lorraine was just what I thought she was, a side character who was just going to introduce us to the community center that needed to be fixed. And that would have been fine. And also a cute way for Brittany Bristow to spend more time with her future son-in-law, Victor's child. Like, that is legitimately who I saw her. And I was like, great. And then she wasn't. And it doesn't even make sense. Like, it's like if they suddenly decided to go into Cinderella and then, like, give us a subplot where the goose who becomes the carriage driver has a romance at the ball. Like, I don't know. It's just too much.
Yeah. Agreed.
Now, would I watch a movie that was entirely about the goose having a romance? Absolutely. But
somebody write that.
Movie as a secondary character whose job is just to have a failing community center.
There's some characters that are there to have a plot line, and there's some there that are just to
service the rest of the plot.
Exactly, right. And I agree with you. And but there were a couple other things that I really did like in the movie. I do think that her dress was really pretty. I think that there were a lot of swoon-worthy moments that I think that's why I had such like a fun response when I first saw it, because I'm big into swoon-worthy moments, like when he kisses her hand, and like her big entrance was really good. I think her entrance was probably the best out of these 3 as far as like, was really fun, and her dress was really pretty, and it almost could be actually really, when you think about it, even Royal Hearts could have been a Christmas dress, Christmas ball. Both of them were red. And so, I don't know, that's interesting. And anyway, and I thought the whole plot with her with the king coming to the train to win her back was super swoon worthy and super great. I loved that. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little funny that the king had to go like get the love for confess the love for the prince.
Oh, I loved it. I thought that was great.
I'm not gonna like, let's say some bro's dad comes at me and is like, hey, my son really wants to marry you. I'd be like, tell your son to speak for himself, for Pete's sake.
But the reason why she was running was because she thought that she would like ruin things in the you know, the monarchy and everything. And I can't even remember what the prince was doing at that point in time. I thought it was great.
That was just at the ball. If the king can leave the ball, the prince can leave the ball.
I thought it was.
I would have really approved of the prince sending the king, like them having a heart to heart, and the king going to do it. Like, frankly, the king's like, "Oh, I know my son," but they didn't talk about it. He doesn't actually know that that's what happened. How amazingly awkward would it have been if the king was like, "I saw chemistry," and the prince was like, yeah, she's cute, but I'm marrying Petra. Like, could you imagine?
Yeah, I see your point, but I don't know. I thought it was really swoon-worthy and really romantic and really cool, and like to have the king be humble and like come, and I liked it. I thought it was great. I really
a risky
did.
Little game.
Yeah, fair enough. But you know, if his son is ready to get down on a knee and propose, like, he had to know.
Whatever, he was going to propose to Petra 20 seconds before that. Man was just going to marry someone because it was his job.
You must have liked those butterfly clips.
Well, it was a butterfly brooch. But yeah, I did love the butterfly. Like, butterfly clips are amazing. If you guys ever want to send me fan mail, I'll get a P.O. box so you can send me butterfly clips.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. And like I said, I just really love like big gestures. I love big romantic gestures, and I liked the whole ending I thought was really kind of ended it on this fun note, but I just wish we'd gotten more time with them together. And so that was my problem with this movie. But overall it was good. So how many crowns did you give Royal Matchmaker?
I ended up giving this 3.6 crowns, so less than Royal Hearts.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I give it 3.25 for me, and I have it at number 11 in my rankings. I have it just below Love on the Slopes and just above Frozen in Love for my ranking. So there you go. All right. So next we are going to talk about our last movie here, last royal movie, and it is called Once Upon a Prince. This movie was based on a book by Rachel Hawk, and we both read the book because we are diligent in that way. We're prepared. And what did you think of the book?
I actually really loved the book. It was a little slow to start for me. It took me a little while to get into it based on the fact that it took me like 3 weeks to read, and that was like, it took me 2.5 weeks to read the first 8 chapters, and then it really picked up, and then I finished it in like a day, I guess. I don't know. But it was really fun, and you know, it does have a lot of Christian tones to it, a lot of Christian themes in the book, which I don't mind. I am pro that. It's not like I'm anti that. And I felt like there was a bigger obstacle from them being together than just like his mother's disapproval, because in the book there's like literally a law that won't allow him to marry someone. So yeah, that was more interesting as far as that goes, but I guess they didn't have time for it. But I really, really enjoyed it, the book and the movie.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed the book. I think it was written in a like, she was good at writing dialogue, I think, between the characters and just making really cute situations that you enjoyed, and it was romantic, and it's very clean, and that they sometimes I felt like the Christian elements felt a little like that came out of nowhere, but it was fun. I enjoyed reading the book. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I've definitely read something else from her for sure. So the story of this movie, visiting the U.S., falls for a commoner when he helps her with her car, but his mother isn't pleased with the match and tries to prove that the American gal isn't suitable to be a royal bride. And I had a hard time finding information about this movie. It was kind of weird. Like there wasn't an IMDb page, and there wasn't like none of the normal information for some reason when I was doing my research. But we had our leads were Megan Park, who has been in My Christmas Love, Wish Come True, and The Road to Christmas. That's a Lifetime movie, but I found out that that's one of my favorite Lifetime movies, and she plays the little girl in that movie, which I didn't know, which was kind of fun.
Yeah. She's also in actually one of my favorite made-for-TV movies of all time. And I don't know how well it holds up, but it was when it came out, and I loved it, called This Time Around.
I haven't heard that one.
And she is like in the prequel where she is like the rude girl, but like younger in junior high. So it's actually really fun. Sarah Rue is in that as like the best friend character.
Fun.
It's pretty, I don't know. It's pretty fun. It's like a lie revenge movie. So, you know, I like those.
Cool. And so then you also have Jonathan Keltz, and this is his Hallmark debut in this. And he is not British, and I thought he did a pretty good job.
Oh, I know. He did a great job. Sorry. On Home and Family, they were talking about how he stays in, not necessarily in character, but in accent the whole time that they're filming, which is, you know, a really great way to not lose the accent. I mean, I was really nervous having an American be in the role because the other two Hallmark royal movies this spring actually had real British people being like the British people. So it was a little nervous, but Jonathan Keltz, I think, did a great job. Way better than Mr. Christmas in Once Upon a Royal Holiday.
Yeah. Yes, much better than Sam Page in Royal New Year's Eve. And you might think, oh, that doesn't really matter that much, just accent. But, like, it actually really does matter because, like, it affects the chemistry. It affects the whole movie. If, like, I don't know, if someone's accent is going in and out and it just doesn't, it's not a believable performance. And
yeah, it's really, I love accents, and I'm like not the best at accents, but I love accents and dialects, and like I care whether they're using a formal placed British or if they're using more of like a northern dialect, or if they're using like, you know, like a London dialect or an Eastern dialect. Like I care about these things, and like I like listening to people talk and I go like, ooh, they sound like they're actually from this part of England, and then I Google them and I'm like, absolutely correct. Like
you're like the Henry Higgins of
I'm the Henry Higgins of Hallmark, but I really care about the accents and the dialects. So I appreciated it, and I thought he did a great job. I know we just said that, but I really did.
Yeah, she was really good. I mean, he was really sorry. He was really good. I was looking at a picture. He was really good. And they had, I think, pretty good chemistry from the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I really loved it. And their chemistry wasn't like, simmer, which a lot of the time is what Hallmark gives us. They a lot of the time give us, let me just simmer below the surface, which is not necessarily what I love. I love the chemistry where people are like joking and having fun and like they're falling in love in a fun way. They're not just like, passionate love. They're just falling in love.
Yeah. But I do love a good British stare. You know, like in these Austen movies or whatever, when like the guy's just sort of staring at the like Darcy. I mean, Colin Firth was the ultimate at that.
I know. Stop talking about Darcy when she's playing the piano. Like, we get it. They still had some of that in this. It was just a nice little mixture of really what you want. And so basically, like the whole conceit is that he is visiting friends in Georgia, and he happens to come across at the very beginning. You have the Susanna character, Megan Park character, who I was a little nervous about her because I like her other movies, but I felt like she was a little wooden, a little flat. She wasn't my favorite of like Hallmark leading ladies, but I thought she was really good in this. So she won me over, but I was a little nervous going into it. But anyway, he comes across her, and she's gotten her car
she has a flat on her car. Have you ever had a flat tire in your car you've had to change?
Yes, actually. When I drove on my trip to California with a bunch of people I didn't know, and it was the worst trip ever.
Oh, no.
Driving down there, we got a flat tire before we ended up going down there where it flooded. And it was a Sunday, and of course there were no tire stores open.
No.
So we had to go to like this one where they jacked up the price, and it was awful. And thank heavens, a police officer stopped and like helped us change the tire, which was so great. And I was like, thank you. But like, what else was he doing at 7 a.m. on a Sunday? So it was really nice though. But he probably is the same guy who gave me a speeding ticket on the way home. That was a terrible trip. It cost me like $800 more than I anticipated.
Oh my gosh.
Because also the front of my car ripped off when we were driving through the flooding. Anyway, side note.
Oh, wow.
So yes, I have had a flat tire. And also, my tires just kept going flat one time. So my dad made me learn how to change my tire. So.
Yeah. It's a really good, important thing to learn. I've actually had 5 over the course of my life. A lot of people might not know, I'm actually a little bit older than Amber. And so,
but I'm the queen.
Yeah. I've had 5 flat tires in my life, and most of them were on long road trips, like you say. And so, yeah, you should know how to do it. Because even if there's AAA, you still should know how to do it. Anyway, she knows how to do it, but her jack is missing because her sister took it or whatever, so she can't change it. Anyway, he comes along, he helps her, and they're like right in front of this legendary tree, this love tree. Mm-hmm. And what did you think of this tree?
The Lover's Oak.
Lover's Oak.
I love it. I just love the fact that it exists. I love the fact that she said like, oh yeah, I always thought that someone would propose to me there. Wah, wah. You were like, well, obviously that's going to happen. So I loved it. I really loved so much about this movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Everything was so cute. All of their romance was cute. I didn't mind the changes they made from the book, and I really loved the book. I loved it a ton.
The tree was really beautiful. Like it was a cool tree. Like
not even just like, oh, they put in twinkle lights. How beautiful! Like the branches were amazing. Like whatever set scout found that tree. Yeah. Well done. Hats off to you, my friend. And like, congratulations to Canada for growing that tree.
Yeah. And this whole movie, all the sets, all the gardens, everything were all beautiful. They did a great job. So that was really good. And so basically what ends up happening is her father ends up getting a heart attack and he can't work at their garden store. And so he is just super feeling super nice and also maybe a little bit, excited about her. Yeah. And so he volunteers to help at the store, and they put him to work right away, lifting big bags of mulch and fertilizer and stuff like that. And they're really, really impressed, but they don't know that he is a prince. And there's, of course, this photographer stalking. And I thought it was funny. I wanted to say, if you're expecting to get a kiss at the 25 minutes.
You're on the wrong network, bro.
Yeah, right. I think he got a little. She gives us a face wipe.
Yeah. Well, don't you love a good
Scandal.
Smudge wipe? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to sell in the tabloids right now.
Best smudge wipe in the history of cinema. Do you have one?
Ooh.
Good, I do.
Oh, good.
From Northanger Abbey, the new one.
Uh-huh.
It's the best.
I'll have to watch it and pay attention to that.
You won't even have to pay attention. You'll know.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a good one. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah. And so it ends up coming out that he's the prince. And I kind of liked that it wasn't a big how did you lie to us? Whatever ridiculous nonsense. And he ends up going back home, and everybody's but he's very sad, very, very sad. And so I did kind of like his assistant guy because usually they're all difficult, you know.
Yeah.
But like this assistant guy was like really fun.
John.
Yeah. And so the queen, of course, is just very difficult. And she's talking to the assistant, and she says, well, what can we do? What can we do? And so he's like, why don't we have her come over? We can say that it's supposedly an internship, but it's not. And he can kind of get her out of his system, which is like the stupidest idea I've ever heard, you know, like good way to like, I was like, has this person never seen, this queen has never seen a movie in her life? But basically that ends up happening. And her sister, did you like her sister?
I did. I really liked Avery.
She was cute.
They age her up in the movie from the books, because in the book she's like 16 or something. And I totally approve of that, especially since, spoiler alert, the books are a series of books. And I would give my right arm for Hallmark to invest in a series of movies that are done the way series of romance novels are done, where they go from one protagonist to the next.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I would love to see the Fool's Gold books. Because remember how we had Marry Me at Christmas? And because that's just one story of Fool's Gold. And then the other books are all just different stories in Fool's Gold. And so I would love, for Susan Mallory, I would love to see them do that. Or there's a bunch, but even this could be really cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've only read the first book, or have you read others?
Oh, Rachel, don't you know me at all?
I forget, you're a really fast reader.
Once I'm into it, I was like, well, at the beginning.
But you've liked the other ones you read?
Yeah, they're really fun.
Cool. Yeah, that would be
and
really
you don't have
fun.
to take as long to get into them, because guess what, bro? I already care about the characters.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can use the same sets even.
Use the same sets. You can, so like in the sequel, it can be about Avery, and you can have, you know, Avery having her relationship, and it could be at the wedding of Megan and Jonathan. I mean, Susanna and Nate, and come on, Hallmark.
Yeah.
Series me up.
They kind of did that with Love Comes Softly, but like it was still within the family. And so like it would be cool if it was more just like a town kind of thing. I agree. I think that would
but like, so like imagine this. This isn't what happens in the book, because obviously Lady Ginny in the books is terrible. And also in the books he has a brother. But like one of the books is about his brother, and one of the books is about Avery and things like that. And one of the books is about the lost heir they find to take over the entail. But so like they could do one that's about Avery, and then they could do one about Lady Genevieve, because she was so nice in this movie.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't you like to see what happens to them, you guys? Yeah, you would.
Yeah. That would be really fun. So Lady Ginny, she was fun. I agree. She was very deliciously evil at first, though. I thought like even her like stance and everything were really funny. Because I'm normally not a big fan of these like over the top villain characters, but I did think that she was pretty fun. I liked her.
Yeah, she was great.
Collins was her name, I guess. And yeah, it goes back and forth, very predictable, like you might expect. And then but I did love towards the end when she's left at this point, and he's working in the
her like family's uniform.
Family shirt. Yeah, family shirt. I'm like, oh man, this guy isn't bad.
He is gone. Like, Queen, you better just give in now, because he's wearing some weird scrubby shirt. Like,
yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah. And there's the whole coronation, but before that they have, of course, this ball that's part of the coronation, and she comes in wearing this beautiful dress. It's a white dress, which is a risky choice. I always wear white.
It was cream.
That's kind of white. But it was very pretty. She looked very it almost reminded me a little bit in feel of like Michelle Obama's inauguration dress, the way that, because her dress had like flowers like that. Anyway, it was pretty. It was probably I probably like the other two dresses that we talked about a little bit better, just because I'm a color person. But she looked really pretty.
I think this was my favorite dress.
Oh, was it? Okay. What'd you like about it?
Sleeves.
I
like sleeves and shoulders. Because then they don't have to keep like fidgeting with them, you know? I hate when they fidget with their dresses.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. It was pretty. It was very pretty. And she, and you know, they had some really good dancing. And they said that I guess they kept tripping because of her dress. They kept tripping over each other so much, but they managed to fudge it. Because they only have a couple takes in all of these movies. She said on Home and Family that because they showed sort of only that they were able to kind of keep themselves from showing, like, because it was just sort of the top part of them and not the bottom part, I guess, is that showing them tripping. But it was good dancing scenes, I thought. And then anyway, and I just really liked when he finally says to his mother, like, I thought it was a really, like, I don't know, kick butt kind of moment when she's like, your responsibility is to look after the welfare of the people of Cambria and their freedom and protect their freedoms or whatever. And he was like, I'm a person in Cambria. I should protect my own freedom.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. I liked it. I was like,
he nailed it.
Woohoo! Yeah. And so he goes back and he's in front of the tree with the lights, and it was really good. It was really cute. Yeah, it was a great ending. So that was fun. And so yeah, this was really good. I liked it a lot. How many crowns would you give it?
4.6.
Ah, cool.
I loved it a lot.
Yeah, it was really good. I would give it 4.25. So
okay, that's pretty decent for you.
Mm-hmm. And so I have it at number 4 in my ranking. Okay. I have it above The Sweetest Heart. I have it above, but I have it just below One Winter Weekend, just because of the diversity of that movie. It just barely edges it out. So it's number 4 and in my ranking. So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. So let us know what you thought of these 3 movies. Which one did you like best? I guess how do you rank these 3 movies? What is your order? You have
it's Once Upon a Prince, Royal Hearts, and then Royal Matchmaker. But they're all pretty close, and they're way higher than the rest of the spring. Like, it's not even close.
Oh yeah,
the rest of spring was not great.
Yeah.
For me.
So I have Royal Hearts is number 1, Once Upon a Prince is number 2, and then Royal Matchmaker. For spring, I have Royal Hearts, Once Upon a Prince, Sweetest Heart, Royal Matchmaker, and Love Once and Always, I guess, is the last one, right? That covers them all, I think.
Home for Spring.
Oh, and then Home for Spring is the last. So there you go. That's the ranking. But let us know how you would rank these movies, what you liked, what you didn't like. And we would love to hear either on Twitter or in the comment section. We'd love to hear your input. Enjoyed our interview with Alonso Giraldi that we had on Monday. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a real honor for me. He's somebody I've admired and looked up to for a long time. So I was pretty nervous, and it was just such a fun thing. And I hope you all enjoyed it. If you haven't listened to it, definitely check it out, because he's like the king of Christmas, and it was so fun to talk to him. And then we'll have our When Calls the Hallmarkies tomorrow with Ruth Hill, where we talk about the latest episode of When Calls the Heart. So make sure you check that out. Next week on the podcast, we are going to be talking about the show Psych with my little brother, Sam. So that will be super fun. And so if you would like that show, let us know some of your favorites, what you like. That would be really fun to know. And then this weekend, we have an Aurora Tea Garden movie that is coming up on Sunday. And that is our only movie on either channel this weekend. And are you looking forward to that?
I actually really am. It's going to be interesting to see how the series progresses.
I've only seen the one, and it's actually my favorite of the mysteries that I've watched, is the Last Seen Alive one is my favorite, aside from Signed, Sealed, Delivered, if that doesn't count. And right now I have the other Aurora Tea Garden movie at 8 in my ranking.
Okay.
just under Cooking with Love and just before Morning Show Mystery. So I don't know, I thought it was kind of fun. It had like a jump and had some fun moments and had some good set pieces that were enjoyable. So I liked it for a mystery movie. And so I'm actually, it should be fun to watch this Sunday. Then we also have a new episode of One Calls the Heart and Beat the Pete's this weekend. And we'll look forward to seeing that and to talking and tweeting about it. And so there you go. That's what's coming up on the podcast. And Amber, how can people find you?
As always, I am at Amber Brainwaves on Twitter, and that is all.
Awesome. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and YouTube, so make sure you check that out. And I'd love if you subscribed. And also make sure you're following us on Instagram and Twitter. We try to post daily at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast on Instagram, Hallmarkies Pod on Twitter. And then we are on all the different podcast platforms of, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud. We're just now on Stitcher. So we're excited that we got on that. And so lots of fun stuff, lots of ways to connect with us. So please do. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks so much for having this royal episode with us.
Yes, thank you. Ta-ta. Cheerio.
Bye.
Bye.